Okay, it's a cold day, Friday, February 21st, 2014, and actually the thermometer reads about 5 below zero, but the wind that we're having, which you can probably hear, puts the temperature down quite a bit more, and a lot of times, to me, it feels cold. Feel quite a bit colder, anywhere between 0 and minus 10 degrees than say minus 20 to minus 30, because there's still a bit of humidity around in the minus 10 to minus 30, sorry, the 0 to minus 10, and that humidity, I think, makes a difference. Anyway, I'm on my way to a meeting. I had another meeting earlier this morning at the University of Lethbridge, and then I thought I was going to have to drive to Calgary or maybe Nanton for my afternoon meeting, but as it turns out, the guy that I need to talk to is here in town for the day, and so I've decided to make an excursion out of it rather than taking the all too convenient and ecologically damaging and comfortable and not very healthful drive across town in my vehicle. I have decided to ruck it across town. So where I started off from is in this neighborhood over here, which is actually a couple of kilometers away. I've already traveled a little distance, a couple of kilometers. I'm at the lookout point, bench overlooking the Old Man River coulee, which I have showed at least one prior video. This is the Old Man River, the famous high-level bridge of Lethbridge out that way, and some of the areas that I've shown in the video. In any case, I'm going to hike down here, across the river by the Whoop-Up Bridge, and then make my way. I might even, I don't know if I trust it right in the middle here today, but then I got to make my way over to somewhere behind this big building here. There's a street over there where the building is that I'm supposed to be meeting at. I've only got really like about an hour to get there. I'm rucking with 35 pounds of weight in my pack. No ankle weights today because round trip, I don't know what this distance is going to be, and I think just having the 35-pound weight in my backpack, in my ruck, is probably going to be enough of a workout for me for today, but we'll see. I haven't made this long of a hike across Lethbridge for a little while, and I haven't done it with my weighted ruck like I've been doing this winter. So this is just kind of a test run to check what the distance is. I am plotting the distance with an iPhone app, a pedometer, and just seeing how it goes. As far as I thought I might mention something about clothing and all of that, because it is kind of important when you're doing something like this. You should have the right gear, the proper gear, and actually looking at things here, thinking I might be better off following the coulee rim. Nah, I'll go down right here. Anyway, it's good to have the proper gear, but you don't have to buy this junk from these big brand names. Sturdy outdoor clothing for huge bucks. $400 $100 for a jacket, and you know, a few $100 for a pair of pants, and blah blah. It's really just that's just for yuppies. So I'll show you what I'm wearing. Of course, you can see I'm wearing a FMK toque. It's not a, you know, it's a good quality toque, but it's not anything special. It's just a nice kind of thick cotton toque, and it might have some wool in it. I'm not sure, but it keeps my head warm. I also have around my neck a wool buff from the actual Buff headgear company. That's one kind of piece of equipment that I do recommend buying. You can get them with fleece lined and that kind of a thing, but I find that just having just this thin wool layer on my neck is enough to keep my neck warm when you get this cold wind, until it gets like 20 below and stuff, and then I might opt for a face mask or something like that. All right, for pants, see if you can see here, I've just got real basic, these are cotton lined, like $25 Costco cargo pants, trousers, things. They're really good for active wear. I find them to be very comfortable and very warm in the winter. If it got like 20 below, then I'd wear ski pants instead. I wouldn't wear an expensive one, but I would wear ski pants with maybe some thermal underwear. My underwear today are just Under Armour briefs. I've got a kind of, what do you call it, a wife beater t-shirt on, and over that I've got a thermal underwear shirt, long sleeve, and on top of that I've got this I don't know if you can see it here, this brown wool sweater with this fleece lined, and the wool is llama or alpaca or something like that, and it's not an expensive jacket. And then for shoes and footwear, I've just got some regular, run-of-the-mill wool cotton blend socks and Feiyu shoes. I don't like to wear the big boots unless it's snowy out here. If it's snowy, then I might wear the big boots, but otherwise I want it to replicate as close to possible as barefoot walking, and so the Feiyu does a really good job at that. So that's what I'm wearing. It's very comfortable. The bottom of the Feiyu has a rubber so that it keeps the moisture from the ground out if I walk in puddles or anything like that. I'm okay. It's almost like wearing a gum boot, and but the sole is nice and thin, so it's like my foot gets the exercise that it should from barefoot walking. It's not like I'm walking in casts. So that's it, no big deal. That's what I wear at this kind of temperatures. The early temperatures below 0 Celsius, which is maybe in the 30 to 0 degree Fahrenheit range, something like that. And yeah, it's what I'm comfortable wearing, and I enjoy hiking like this. So anyway, I will show you what else I encounter as we go along. Yeah, one part of my wardrobe that I failed to show before are my isotoner gloves. Some leather gloves with these touchpad thumb and forefinger, so that I can still use my touch-sensitive iPhone screen if I want. As you can see, I'm currently down on the river now and walking the ice. I'm trying to keep, I wish I could trust the ice just to walk across. It's just such a short distance, and it would make today's hike way easier, but I'm chicken. I don't know what the middle of that ice is really like. The weather has been just off and on cold all winter, and I know there's been a lot of thawing and refreezing and this kind of thing, and I don't want to fall through. And generally when we get to this time of year, you shouldn't be trying to walk across the river on the ice. Even doing what I'm doing, I can see that up here as we come to this cut bank, it looks like we're going to come to a little bit of open water. I'm going to try to stay on the ice that looks thick to keep me up over this open water, and basically make my way toward the bridge where I can cross. But yeah, in any case, I try to stick to this edge that has a little bit of snow on it, because that's easier to walk. Not going to slip and potentially hurt myself, although I do know how to brake fall pretty good. If you're not ready for it, sometimes shit happens. Yeah, this is the kind of area where I started thinking it's not going to take much to go through this ice. I don't know, it looks like it is frozen, refrozen, that kind of thing. I mean, it's probably safe to go right across, but I'm a big chicken shit when it comes to that, because I can't imagine how much it would suck to be under the water, under this ice with no way to get back up if you got in a spot that just had a little bit of current that before you could get your bearings, took you under the ice, you'd be fucked. So yeah, I try to keep to the edge that is easy to grip with the feet. It's got a little snow. It's starting to snow a little bit right now, and that may be a benefit to me on my walk back. We'll see. But anyway, it looks like I'm going to have to go along the cliff edge here and see where it'll take me. I don't know. I mean, this looks pretty sturdy. Let's see how it looks coming out here on the ice. Carry me all the way across. Do not follow my lead. Doing shit like this. In fact, I'm going to undo the straps of the pack right now in case I do go through. Easily drop my pack. It's hard to tell exactly how thick the ice is right here. I haven't come across any good and we are at least halfway across the river. So let's continue on here. So much for being a chicken shit, just going for it. And, I am a really good swimmer, and most of the time here on the Old Man River, the water is not actually deep on me, which is not too bad. There are some deep pools, and the smart guy learn all the deep pools in the summer, you really learn the winter, really watch the way that the ice forms and which ice is the oldest and stuff, and know right where to cross that's safe. I'm smart now. It looks like I am going to be the lucky guy today. Back across return trip this afternoon. This ice here, it's all white like this. It's nice. I trust. It's darker ice. I don't know how deep that ice is. But you know, I've been watching the river and I don't recall seeing any big open spots over this way, so I think we're all right. Here, we're indeed coming to the shore, and I'm gonna walk a little bit along the shore here, come to a low spot. So, made it. Survived the ice crossing. No big deal at all. I was just being a pansy, but smart pansy. So, trudge on. Okay, I've now made it to the Whoop-Up Bridge and Indian Battle Park, so called because the last really big fight between the Cree and Blackfoot occurred here. Lots of death. Any case, now I'm headed over toward the what's called Fort Whoop-Up. It's really just a rebuild of the Fort Whoop-Up, of the original Fort Whoop-Up, which I'm pretty sure I've talked about in some other videos. We should be coming within a view of it here really quick. There it is. There's Fort Whoop-Up. We're gonna walk right past there, head up this coulee slope. My meeting's up at the top. So far, I've gone about 5 kilometers, I think, as the crow flies. I'm not exactly sure because right now my phone won't turn on. I don't know what's going on with it, whether it's just crashed or whether it got too cold or shouldn't have lost all its battery yet. But yeah, for some reason I can turn it on. It'll be on like about 30 seconds and then it goes black, and I don't know what the heck's going on. It's never done that before. Hopefully when I get up to the top here of the coulee, I'll be able to at least contact my colleague and connect up with him, given that this was the whole reason behind making this excursion. But yeah, made it so far. It's snowing good. There's a train going across the high-level bridge right now. You can hear it. Canadian Pacific Rail, the famous bridge. And yeah, I really, although there's lots of places in the world that I appreciate their beauty and everything, as far as places to live, I'm really happy with where I am. The scenic beauty, the Old Man River Valley, and the opportunities for training, all kinds of harsh conditions in all seasons. And so we go from cold to desert. We got rattlesnakes, we got scorpions, black widows, we got cactuses, cacti, and you know, on the flip hand, we got snow, we got ice, we got -40, we got mountain lions, you know, grizzly bears, the whole gamut. So it's a good place to be. Yeah, I just noticed this. This is a new installation down here. It's a warm-up station. They have, I guess, several different exercises that can be done at this station. I'm pretty happy about this. I hope to see a lot more of this stuff going in the park here. Maybe it already is. I've been hoping that our city would get with the program and install adult jungle gym stuff in our parks. So this is a good sign. And this is right in front of the Fort Whoop-Up. Fort Whoop-Up, we're headed to right here beyond these little bit of trees. It's not really much to look at. It's a stupid wooden palisades wall. Some fencing around it and stuff. And lots of teepee poles around. Yeah, really a couple of wagons. No big deal. They do all kinds of like their whiskey trade, RCMP reenactments and stuff down here. Yeah, the big mythology and stuff that they push down here is the 1870s to 1890s era, when you had a lot of craziness going on here. Whiskey trade, firearms trade between some really low-life American fur trade types and the Blackfoot. And things were nuts. Lots of death around here. And then the RCMP came through, or came out this way and ran off the Americans and started getting the area set up for Canadian settlement, all this jazz. Anyway, the big mythology is that, you know, it's kind of like the morally superior RCMP came out here and didn't really have to like kill people or anything, just by virtue of their moral superiority alone. Practically they're able to change things around here that were bad for a long time, and it's bullshit, of course. They used threat of violence and all that stuff, and they weren't all that morally superior and all that. But this is the same kind of mythology that Canada's still pushing in the world, calling themselves peacemakers, but going to war basically in defense of the efforts of a colonial empire, all the same. So anyway, I'm gonna head up this trail and move up to the top of the coulees. Just hiking down through downtown Lethbridge, looking for where I'm supposed to be. Said it was FCU building across from a pawn shop off 3rd. I don't know. So I'm just looking around, just about to corner of 3rd where there are some pawn shops. There's that big building you can see from across the river, and then here's some of the older brownstones that are coming up on here, and the kind of the historical downtown Lethbridge area. Park over here. It's a mall a couple of blocks away. I got to take a shot of my puffer, I think, or my asthma medication when I get to. I'm a couple hours early, but with a up and down coulee hike, it's not a big surprise. That's why I packed it along. There's ACL, Aboriginal Council Lethbridge. That's where we're headed. Okay, so as it turned out, I am too late. My buddy's gone. He probably tried to contact me on my phone. My phone is shot. It's out of battery. That's what it looks like anyway. Probably the cold weather helped it along, because it was at like 40%. Last I was able to check it, and suddenly 0. Don't know what options I've got really. I'm gonna go over to the Lethbridge Lodge Hotel, see if he's hanging around the lobby there by any chance. I'm also gonna check the Tim Hortons, so that's the kind of place he might be. Buying himself a donut and a coffee. And if neither of those work, I guess I'm on my way back across the river. Okay, so still no sign of my friend Jonathan. I was able to use the phone here at this hotel, the Lethbridge Lodge, and was able to use the phone, call Mahoney, let her know that if she's trying to contact me, that my phone is dead, and I was able to use their a computer in their lobby and message my buddy and my colleague and let him know that I'm here. If he gets it in time, he could come meet me. I've waited around a few minutes and stuff, and he's not coming. And so anyway, I'm just gonna hike back across now, and maybe I'll connect with him later. Yeah, so this is the thing with our modernity. You go without a phone for a half hour and you're fucked. Just thought I'd show you this, my walk down into the coulee here, a little bit of it anyway. As you could see from when I was down here by Fort Whoop up earlier, and even along this route here, you know, the coulees is quite built up over here on the downtown side of Lethbridge, as an area, as a recreational area for people to use, to more readily access by way of these paved trails and roads, access roads. In fact, right running parallel to this over the berm here, there's a road that you can just drive down into the coulee with. It's alright and everything, but I like the areas of our coulees here in Lethbridge that are less accessible, the ones where you actually have to hike in, especially the ones that are more difficult to hike in and out of because of the steep coulee slopes, and that there's not an easy trail, nice gentle sloping trail like this to follow. So I'm probably going to show you a little bit of the forest down here on my way back toward my end of the river, and we'll get to see things from a different perspective today because we are over here. In fact, I think I go a little bit more, before I cross the river, I'll go a little bit more back toward where I normally go down. Say if I'm going down to fetch a rock to carry up just as exercise and that kind of thing. That area of the river that I've shown lots of times before. We'll go check that out from this perspective, from this side. And anyway, just I don't have to be back at my house for at least an hour and a half. Then I got a guy coming over to do some martial arts with me, Morris. And but from now, between then, I can just kind of take my time. I am experiencing a little bit of pain right now in my left knee. I don't know what that's about exactly. Well, I do kind of. I think I've just given it more use than it's used to this week. This week has been a great week for me in terms of getting my cardio progress back. There was, over the winter, I was really struggling all winter, from late summer into the winter with this really bad asthma that had kind of come over me suddenly, developed quite suddenly, and it's weird for it to develop in my adult years, and that's what it did. And I think it's connected to some allergies. But in any case, I was really struggling to breathe, and the 5K run that I used to make pretty easily, at parts like all through the winter, I couldn't run it anymore. Not the whole distance, and even doing part of the distance would often really put me into kind of like breathing seizures and coughing spasms, and it was just terrible. But this week, Monday, I tried it out again. I've been on this asthma medication a little bit now, so I tried my 5K run and I did it. It wasn't a problem. And then Tuesday, I did another 5K, but I did it with walking and then sprinting, and then walking, sprinting, just sprint sets basically all the way along the 5K. By then my legs were kind of sore because I haven't been used to doing this for a while, half a year at least. And then Wednesday, I went out and I just walked the 5K of another. I did another route and walked 5 kilometers just to do something on my feet. And I'd like to do that every day, but yesterday, Thursday, I missed it. It was just too busy a day. I had to be at work in the morning, and then after work we had a big family event, and I was not able to walk my 5 kilometers. And so today I'm getting in my 5 kilometers and more, but my one knee is kind of tripping out a little bit. My left knee is kind of tripping out, kind of sensitive, a little bit, what do you call it? Just a little bit tender from this week's work, and I don't want to overdo it too much, but I do have to hike all the way back home. So and this is not an easy hike for somebody just doing it one way. So my poor knee, I hope it doesn't set me back. This is a little, basically a little ladder system. There's kind of a dam on the river below the University of Lethbridge. I don't know if you can see, but through the trees there, hidden on the other side of the coulee, is the University of Lethbridge. Below that there's a big weir crossing the river that obstructs fish movement. So this stream here is kind of the ladder that fish use to go around the weir. Some other stuff going on around here. This area here is fenced, and back that way there's a big concrete building. It's a shooting range for the RCMP, the police. And then in here you have some old buses and some obstacles. This is the canine training area. So this is where they train the canine RCMP dogs to do their thing. see that. Got these different obstacles set up for them. So anyway, this is just a couple of things. I have seen only once, but I'm sure they come through every year. I just don't catch it. In this stream right here at this very spot, I have seen a huge fish migration, but even the naturalists of the city are not really aware of. And or it reminded me of the salmon migrations from where I used to grow up. They come up and they just got a little jump to make, either here or there, to jump up the ladder to this next phase of the stream. Right now it's pretty much all iced up, but at those spots where the water has to break through somehow. Anyway, this turns around and meets the river eventually. Alright, I followed the canal that I was showing you, and this is where it meets the river. There are pipes, open pipes under here that the fish can follow to go into the river up here. You got all of this like barbed wire fence and big mounds of dirt, all this ugly like construction shit that it's been here for years. It's looked like this. It's looked like such a it's looked like it's under construction for ever since I've lived here, almost 20 years. And I wish the city would do something different so that it looked nice instead of all mucked up like this. I'm just coming over to see whether from this angle we can check out the weir. Not really. I mean, we can, but you don't really. From this angle on video, it's going to be pretty difficult to show what's really going on here. But what you have up that way, see those two concrete things in the water? Those are some of the anchorings for the weir that cuts across. And because it cuts across, you got some open water. You can see some geese hanging out there and stuff. Now, just below the weir, on the downriver side where the geese are and stuff, when the fish do come up, they get kind of stuck there because not all the fish realize that there's this like side ladder thing that they should be taking to get around to the other side of the river. A lot of them go right up to the wall of the weir and just try in futility to figure out a way around that big wall. And there is no way around that big wall. And so what happens is the pelicans have caught on to this. They know that the fish get clogged up behind that weir. So they come and they have a big feast. They're there. Most of the beginning of summer is just full of pelicans there. The American white pelicans. So here we are back on the main river, as you can see, and just gonna follow this along back toward the area where my neighborhood is, and see what's going on in those forests across from where I normally come down to the river that I don't always get to see because I don't always trust the ice. So it'd be kind of cool today to check those forests out. These forests on this side are not too bad either, except that you got frequent dog walkers coming through here, and so the animals can be kind of scarce, so you don't want to come around those dogs. But once you get out a little ways and you get past the islands, then we might start seeing something. I'm going to see if we can maybe find any owl nests over that way. Okay, this is the area where I came across the river. You can see that nice hard white ice layer there. I'm gonna try to find something like that again, a little bit upstream. Here's the that bench that's you can see my neighborhood from that I started this video at, and we're gonna go down a little bit more upstream, I should say, across to a couple of the islands and check the forest out that way, where there's just less of a human presence. That was the area where saw the coyotes running in and out of, and back there's a bit of open water back that way too. So we'll go check all that stuff out. Okay, I'm about to cross the water onto the first island. There's two big islands in the river here, and this is the downstream one. We want to get to, or I want to get to the upstream one this evening, just to quickly scope it out. I don't know how well I'm doing for time to meet my friend, and I wish again that my phone was not acting up, because it would be good if I could contact him and let him know that I might be running late. Look at this. Look at this. Do you see this? Who is that, pray tell? That's a big bird. Big birdie. Is that an eagle? Could be. Sorry for the in and out. He just keeps moving to different positions. He looks like a hawk. Big hawk, though. Hard to say. Hard to say. It's a pretty big bird. Alright, I'm going to cross to the island, and then we'll maybe take another look at him. There is a, I bet I know what he's here about, though. Just over here, there's some, oh, that bird scooted already. There's some junk and stuff over in this area. There's a marmot colony who lives there, who I've seen, and probably if the Richardson's ground squirrels are coming out, there's a chance some of the marmots might be as well. This looks pretty treacherous, so I'm going to turn off the camera to climb up this bank. Alright, now we're in some familiar territory. Up here by that set of power poles off that way is where my stone cairn is. Just across the river here, see the storm drainage from the neighborhood, and on this side some of the open water where it's been going open and then closed, open and then closed all winter. I think we're going to come across a bigger piece of open water up here, and maybe a duck. Just so you know, hiking around out here in the winter is very unforgiving for on the legs and the feet, because this iced up ground and the tundra type of ground in the winter and the cold is just like cement, except extremely lumpy cement. And if you can appreciate how hard it is on the legs to walk on cement all the time, imagine that, but having it be all lumpy. Alright, trying to kind of stay a little bit hidden because there is a, look at this though, it's these giant trees just laid here. These are washed up by the by the floods that we get in June. I think there's a duck over here, so I don't want to scare it off, but I want to get to where I can check it out and see what kind of duck it is. Pretty sure it's going to be a golden eye. Oh yeah, there he is. It's a golden eye, male. Nice. I'll let him be. Oh, there's something else too. What else is there? Let's look another one. Two male golden eyes. I will let them be. Okay, this is curious. I hadn't noticed this from the other side before, but look at this. Is a gigantic food cache from the beavers. Here is the entrance, like the oxbow that goes around the island. And right by the entrance here we have a big beaver food cache, but no beaver lodge. The beaver lodge is way down that away. So why do we have a food cache way over here? It's pretty confusing, but answers, I have no idea. I mean, it must have got washed here somehow, or the beavers, why would they lay it up here when their lodge is way over there? Makes no sense. Here's a little something I never really took notice of from the other side. Again, we're just over by the beaver lodge. Beaver lodge is right there, right back there, and you got these pools of open water that we've been looking at all winter. And I probably did see this, but looking it up close from this perspective, you get a whole different sense of this. This is like not just your average like park bench. This is something that somebody privately brought out here, and it looks like maybe a bench, maybe even an old bench from maybe a church or is a bus station. I don't know. It's really different than the usual picnic table type benches that the parks people put out here. So this is a private enterprise, this little bench here, and what a nice place. You know, looking around at this, I mean, this is a nice quiet place. Nobody comes back here, and you know, I gotta say, I love living here. I love it that this is my backyard. I can come out to a place, you know, where really there's a potential for me to encounter any of the wildlife, pretty much any of the wildlife of Alberta, just in southern Alberta, just in this one little area of my backyard. Geese are starting to make their way home to the open crags for the night, which means I probably am running late for my friend. Hope I don't miss him. Coming right up to the beaver lodge, and Wasn't sure. This almost looked like somebody peeking out at me, but no, I think it's just a log. But they must have access. Oh, no, he went under. It's not a log. That's a beaver, all right. So they have access to open water here. You don't have to sit in the dark right now. There's a coyote on the move. He might have spotted me. Yeah, it looks like she's running away. She was headed in this direction. Now she's turning. She's going up the trail that I usually take up the coulee. She must have either spotted me or smelled me or something. She knows I'm here anyway. She's disappeared from my sight. She's so camouflage. Once she got off of the ice, I lose her. Yeah, I'm just crossing onto the second island. This looks like an old defunct bridge from a time when the trail that started where I came in from Whoop-Up used to go all the way down this way, and then got washed out by floods and stuff, and the city just never repaired it. So otherwise we'd have quite a few people would come out this way regularly, but they don't. I have pretty much, I think, run out of time to mess around out here this evening. I need to somehow get myself back, because just by the dimming daylight, I'm estimating that maybe I have half an hour left to get back to my house before my friend shows up there, if that. So I need to find a good place to cross, get myself across, and climb up that slope right there. Maybe haul a rock up there with me, since I'm going up past the cairn. But yeah, I'm out of time. Consider this maybe possibly a scouting mission for this weekend, because there's still a lot just here on this side of the river, and a little ways upstream by where that big open water's been all winter, that I would definitely like to explore. Alright, I am out on the river again. I do not know whether this is safe, but I do have my backpack, my rucksack ready to strip off easily should I take a plunge. And I'm operating on the assumption that it's fairly safe, because this particular segment of the river is where I have come down. Just in fact right here, this ridge is where I've come down all winter, and I know that this segment of the river right here has been iced for months. So I'm assuming that the ice is thick enough to hold me all the way across, and it seems to be so. I haven't heard any weird, even gurgly cracking sounds or anything. This was the forest that I hoped to explore today. But now that I know that the ice is good enough to carry me across, then I think maybe over the weekend here coming, I'll go explore it, see what I can see in there while I have the opportunity. You can see there's geese who are back at their open water upstream. Good pool up there, and see if we can find. Now this is refreeze here. It's cracking under my feet. A little bit of area where the ice has thawed, puddled, refrozen. That can be dangerous stuff, I think. As long as it's just the top couple of centimeters or whatever, and I don't plunge through, I'm happy. Of course. Yeah, right on. This is my trail that I take up, but over here is where I get my rocks. So I'm gonna go fetch a rock and take a rock up with me, since I'm headed up there anyway. No sign of the coyote. I'm sure she sensed my presence, if not saw me directly, and decided to skedaddle. I've got my rock ready to ascend this slope. I just heard across the river there the song of an owl, great horned owl. So somewhere in there, rather than in there, somewhere in this area is an owl. Well, there it is. 7 big rocks that hauled up from the river now. I guess actually 6 big rocks. This one I just brought up, still kind of wet, damp from the river. It's about maybe 8-9 inches long, maybe 6 inches wide, and kind of like, you know, different shaped on the sides. But anyway, it's not massive heavy, but when you add it to a ruck, it's already weighted down, and it makes the climb from way down there in the river all the more challenging. Anyway, now I really need to hustle back to that neighborhood and hope that I got there, or that I get there in time for my friend. I'm sure the rucksack now, without the rock, that has felt heavy at the beginning of the journey, is going to feel light as heck. And it's been a nice hike, and I'll see if there was enough battery on my phone that it kept that program going to give me the actual kilometers. I don't know, but I kind of hope so, but I don't have a lot of faith. Alright, so if so, I'll let you know, and if not, this is it, and I'll show you next time what's going on at the river.